everyone, my name is Shauna in case you don't know, and welcome back to another video. So in this video I'm going to be talking about sort of like my experience in high school of like switching schools, what that was like, why I was switching schools. I want to talk about this for two reasons. First of all, I want people to know that there are options. If you feel trapped in your school and you feel like you need to go to a different school, there are other options of what you can do. I felt really trapped for the longest time and it felt like there was no option of where I could go, but I was able to find options after I finally opened up to people that I needed help with my mental health. The second reason why I want to talk about switching schools and stuff in high school is because I want to talk about sort of like what my experience with PTSD was like in high school, because it was not fun and a lot of people didn't understand me in high school, and my PTSD is a major reason why I switched schools. So when I started high school, I was going to a school that I went to for middle school as well. It was ranked really high on the ranking of like best schools in the state. So there's a lot of like pressure on us to perform really well. I went to this school for 1.5 years for high school after I did all of middle school there. You know, when I started the 6th grade, I thought this school was going to be perfect for me. I thought I was going to stay in the school until I graduated high school. I would do amazing. I would get into a good college. I had all these like plans for my life. And it sort of felt like there was pressure on me to like stay in this school and to keep getting really good grades. So after 4.5 years of this, I was really burnt out. By the time that I ended up switching schools, I did not care about my grades at all. It was so stressful. There was so much pressure put on me. And the thing at this school was it felt like there was pressure from my peers because I was performing well too. There's pressure from the teachers and pressure from my peers. So I just felt really burnt out and overwhelmed. And I was also really anxious all the time because this school was a school that really put a lot of challenges on you. And I can say with 100% certainty, this school, even in middle school, was harder than college actually is. And it really did a toll to me mentally. And I was prepared to drop out of school as a whole if I couldn't transfer to another school in the middle of my 10th grade year. So that was like a major reason why I switched schools, but that wasn't the only reason why I switched schools. So the major reason why I switched schools is because of my PTSD. When I was in the 9th grade, I was cyberbullied by this group. We used to be friends, and then things went up in flames, and even when I pulled away and was like, hey, I don't want anything to do with any of you, they still kept going. And for a while there, none of them went to my high school, and then in my 10th grade year, one of them transferred into my high school. In every other day, going between classes, I would see the face of someone who cyberbullied me, and I would get really intense flashbacks. So like literally the class that I would go to after running into this person on the like path, I would miss the first 20 minutes of the class because I would be having flashbacks. And what's scary about flashbacks to me is my mental health state while I'm in the flashbacks gets put back to what it was when that actual event was happening. So like if I had a flashback to something where I was like suicidal, guess what? I'm suicidal while I'm in the flashback. So it's really stressful for me, and it really took a toll on my mental health to be triggered every other day just going between classes. And it started to get ridiculous when I was trying to avoid this, because like I would purposely tilt my head. I would have friends like cover my face. Like it got embarrassing, it got ridiculous, and I just couldn't take that anymore. And the thing about PTSD that I really hate is you get flashbacks from events that your brain interprets as traumatic. So I had a situation in my 10th grade year with someone at my school. It isn't something that's normally considered traumatic, and I don't want to like talk about it in detail here because I don't want to like expose this person per se. I had an issue with a friend. I wouldn't say it's like a traditional issue that happens a lot, but it is an issue that happened. And again, not gonna expose this person I used to be friends with. So because my brain was already in a very vulnerable state from seeing someone who bullied me, and so my like threat level felt really high, when I had an issue with this person, all of a sudden I started to get flashbacks every time I saw that person's face or heard that person's name, which is the typical way that my PTSD presents itself. It less involves like actions triggering me, and it involves like people's faces and names, okay? So this person that I used to be friends with, that I had a ton of classes with, ended up resulting in me having flashbacks nonstop from them. So when I get flashbacks too, my body's telling me like, there's a threat, you're in danger. So my body was on high alert the whole time I was in school. It was also depressed from feeling burnt out. It was depressed from having flashbacks nonstop. And it felt like my mental health was just about to like explode if I didn't get out of that school. So feeling really desperate and needing to get out of that situation and needing to get away from this school that put so much pressure on a 15-year-old, I finally found a school I could go to. Now, it was really hard to find a school I could go to because these people who cyberbullied me were in multiple schools across the school district. So I couldn't go to one of the schools that they were at because then I would be in the situation where every time I saw them in the hallway, I had a flashback. So trying to avoid that, we narrowed it down to a few schools where none of them were at. The first one that we did, we went to the principal, and the principal basically was like, no, I'm not letting you in. Then we looked at a couple private schools, but private schools are really expensive. One of them was a private school where you have to compete in a sport, which, I mean, I was physically able to compete in sports at the time, but I wouldn't be able to compete in sports now because of my physical health issues. And then we were reaching out to people trying to figure out what to do when we found out that there was a school in my school district that doesn't like advertise a ton, and it would really work for me, and I qualified to be in there because I was having mental health issues. And this school was for kids that would have some behavioral issues possibly, or kids that would have health issues. So kids that were in cancer could participate in the school district or remain in the school district by using this school. So basically you could go to the school like physically, but the teachers also would like travel around the area to meet with kids. So I ended up doing that, and I found a teacher who basically would like find the schools near me. Like we would do elementary schools, for example, and they would find like an open classroom in that school, and because it was in the school district, we'd be allowed to just do school in the open classroom, and then I do a lot of independent work. So it definitely took a lot of like motivation on my part because it was mostly independent work. I mean, I met with a teacher like I think an hour and a half every day. We also found that with BYU, which is in Utah, they have like a really good online program that high schoolers can do. So I was able to take a class through BYU too. And technically I probably could have like done a ton more classes at BYU to get my high school diploma. So that was my first school change, but I always knew that was going to be temporary, and my next option for school was early college, which worked really well for me. Early college is sometimes called like Head Start or Running Start, depending on where you live. This was something that I'd wanted to do back when I was at the school that was really stressful for me because it just seemed really fun, and I knew that none of the cyberbullies were gonna go there. Eventually a bully did transfer into the program, like someone who bullied me in the past, but luckily there was like 2 different campuses for the college that was doing this like early college like Running Start thing, so I just stayed at the other campus that this person was not attending. Early college works really well. It was a really good fit for me, and it's not a good fit for everyone because you have to be very like on top of yourself and really good about like staying on top of all your work. One thing that I really liked about early college is like with certain classes, say like history, okay? Like 10th grade history, for example, you'd be taking that for like a full year in normal high school, but I really liked how there was like these quarters in the college program, and I still really like that. So you have more variation in what you're taking. It definitely means that you have to like get through more content in a shorter period of time, but I like having 4 quarters each year where I can take a different class or different classes each quarter. I'm just taking 1 class per term now. This wasn't my final change in high school though. My physical health decided to be a butthead in the end of my junior year. So because my health got like really bad, I realized I couldn't attend classes on campus, which really sucked because I really liked that campus. I really liked having community. When I was a teen, I liked hanging around with like adults too because like I just felt like they were more mature. Like all that high school drama was basically non-existent in college, which is something that I still love about college. There isn't like these different cliques. There isn't as many like bullies. If there is bullies, they're not people that I'm interacting with in school, okay? Like, I have been harassed somewhat, like, since I've graduated high school, but I haven't had that happen from anybody in college. There's more people in college who are motivated to be there and do their work, so group projects are easier to complete because people are paying to be in these classes, so they will actually be willing to do the work because they don't want to waste money on these classes. So I decided to switch to fully online classes because my health was not doing well. The first term I was very stressed by it because it was my first term taking fully online classes, and I had to take like a lab science course online, which was hard because I had to do all of my labs at home. Eventually got the hang of it though, and it became easier, and now I'm still doing that. I am still in college and I am still taking online classes. I'm doing 1 class per term because unfortunately my health got worse and now I can't do more than 1 class per term, but it's okay. I'll graduate in like 10 years. I want to graduate soon. I'm sort of fed up with school. That was sort of my experience in high school. It's not really like the traditional high school experience. So I went from a super intense high-stress school to a school for health issues to early college, and then I did online with early college for my final year. So yeah, it was a little bit of a mess. I realized that I needed to prioritize my mental health, and I realized how important taking care of your mental health was when I was in high school. I was in a really bad place in my 9th grade year and in the first half of my 10th grade year, but then I realized this had to change. I couldn't keep putting up with this. I couldn't keep just ignoring my mental health and how bad it was getting, which really worked out really well because my mental health has drastically improved since my 10th grade year of high school. So I hope that you can sort of see that there is options if you need to switch schools. Now, there will be some options that aren't as traditional as you would think. There is different online programs, there's early college programs that are really good. Not all places have them, but a lot of places do have them. And also it's good to just get your feelers out there, ask people about different school options, talk to counselors at your school, because the school that helped with health issues, like, I had no clue that it existed back when I was starting high school, and it was only for reaching out and asking people for help did I find out about this school that would be a good fit for me, that could let me work on school while prioritizing my mental health. So yeah, I hope this video was informative. I've just like been wanting to talk about this for such a long time. Mental health is important. Take care of yourself if you are still in high school or if you're in college. Like, find the school that's best for you. Don't be afraid to transfer schools. I know that sometimes you feel like you have to stay at this one school, you feel like you can't transfer, you can't go to a different school, but if you need to transfer, go for it. Take that leap because it can really, really help you out. If you are at a school that's not a good fit for you, it can really help to take a leap into a better school. Well, better meaning better fit for you, because the school that I was at in my first year and a half of high school is a school that a lot of people would say is an amazing school, but it wasn't a good fit for me, and that's important. Fit is important when it comes to schools, because one school may be a good fit for your friend, but it may not be a good fit for you. Anyways, if you found this video fun or entertaining or informative or anything like that, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to me if you haven't already. I have another video up about my PTSD, which I will link down in the description below if you want to watch it. I have PTSD, it's not fun, but I want to talk about it because it makes it feel a little less scary if I can find other people who also have PTSD. So I upload 2 videos a week, so my next video will be uploaded next Tuesday. I hope all of you stick around to watch that one, and until next time, goodbye!